Tuesday. It's Tina here, and I just wanted to hop on because I'm getting ready to make lunch. We're going to have a larger lunch than what we normally do, really because I wanted to show you a product that I just absolutely love, and you've probably seen me use it a couple of times in a couple of different ways. This is our master system, and the master system is so incredible because it has a lot of different attachments. So last night I used the shredder attachment to shred cheese, and if you've watched any of my lives before, you've seen me shred cheese a lot because we don't buy packaged shredded cheese. We buy block cheese and then we shred it ourselves. So it all starts with this base. You only need one base, and then there's lots of different attachments. So like I said, last night we used the actual attachment that's the shredder. Today, I'm going to use an attachment that is a spiralizer, and I'm going to use it to spiralize some squash and some zucchini, and we're going to mix that with a little bit of pasta. It's a great way to cut down on your carbs because that way you can use less of the pasta and more of the noodles, and of course you're getting your greens in there as well. So I just want to share with you a little bit about how this works. I'm going to have to cut my head off because I want to make sure you get a really good view of this. So you don't need to see my head. You can just look at this little guy. So here's the base. And then this is actually the spiralizer attachment. And it's got a couple of different pieces to it. So the first thing that I want to share with you is there's 3 different attachments. And it's really cool the way they did these because if you look real carefully, you'll actually see right on here, there's little tiny lines. And that shows you that this is the thin spiralizer. And then if you look at this one, you'll notice that it's a little bit wider. So you'll notice that that's almost like making a fettuccine. And then this one right here is solid. So this allows you to make like a pappardelle, I guess. You could use this for potatoes. It would be really cool. This one is cool if you take and you spiralize your potatoes. And one of the cool things is you'll notice there's a little hole right through here. I might do this in a couple of days. And you put your skewers right inside of here. And then as you spiralize, it literally will spiralize right onto the skewer, and that way it's ready to bake, and you can make those cool little fun potatoes that you can get like at food trucks. So this was a really cool one for that. So, but the one we're going to use today is the one that's the skinny one. And so this part right here has got 2 little tabs, and you would think that you would snap it in from the front, but you don't. What you're going to do is you're going to go in from the inside, and you're going to put the um, little guys that are sticking out. I don't know what else to call them. You're going to stick them right inside of there, and then you're going to snap that into place. Voila! Isn't that cool? And then once you've done that, you're going to slide in the base of this, or the bottom of this, into your base. And you'll notice that they've got a curved section. So you just place this right on here and you give it a slide back. Now it's in place, but you want to lock it into place. And so that's what this part here is all about. When you turn that lock on this, this is a suction. Now I've learned through several experiences, you got to make sure that your countertop is clean. You don't want any salt or anything like that on it. So I just cleaned this off just a minute ago because if there's anything on there, you can't get a good suction. So then what you do is you take this and you just twist it to the side so it's locked. And now this is locked onto the counter, so it's not going to dance all over the place, right? And then we also have got this part. It's also locked in. It's not going to be moving anywhere. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put I call it the food holder. It's really sharp. It's got a little guy right there. And I'm going to load it from the back. I really should do this so that you guys could see. Hang on just a minute. Let me do it this way. So you just load this from the back, and then I've got to put the handle on. And so it's the same handle that I use with the shredder and all the rest of them, and it just screws onto the back. It's nice and hefty, though. All right, so now we're going to reattach this to the countertop. Voila, there we go. It's a little awkward to do it straight on, but I want you all to be able to see it. It's a lot easier to do it sideways, to be honest. So here's a little kind of a tip. I'm going to put my bowl here, and I actually have a microfiber cloth in here. Now, don't laugh. Google it. It tells you to do this. Zucchini has a lot of water in it, and so if you don't get the extra water out, when you cook them, they're going to be kind of, I don't know, watery, for lack of a better word. So I've got a pretty good sized zucchini here. I'm just going to cut it in half. And there's a point in the inside of each of these. See that little sharp point right there? So you're going to stick that into the point. All right. So I'm going to stick this guy right in here. And then I'm going to use this, and I'm going to basically push it down into it, just like that. So now my zucchini is attached to the front, and it's also attached to the back. And I'm just going to start turning. And here comes my zoodles. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? So again, I'm doing this in a microfiber because I want my zoodles to absorb up some moisture, or I want the cloth, I should say, to absorb up moisture. So once you get started, then you start getting really long strands. You could probably jump rope with this. It gets so nice and long. All right. And then what happens is when you get to the very, very, very end, I just realized I didn't have that locked. There we go. When you get to the very, very end, it actually pops open. And you're left with a small little piece, and that small little piece I actually put in the freezer, and then when I go to make soup, I make sure that I add that to my vegetable soup. All right, so then I've got the other half of my zucchini, and again, I'm going to shove it into the hole. There we go. And out it comes. Now you'll notice this one's had a wider edge because I put the cut end in. So all you got to do is chop off and it automatically like unlocks up here at the top once you get to the little leftover piece. So don't waste those. Those are something you can actually save and use. So I've got a good amount of zucchini there. And then I'm also going to use a yellow squash. And same process. I'm just going to put this into the center section. This is a little bit more of a challenge because it's one of those squash that has a narrow neck, so you got to make sure you get it in there good. And here comes all of my yummy squash. Yay! And when I get to the end, there it goes. You hear that noise that it makes? That's when you've gotten to the very end. All right, and then we'll do the second half. Now over here in my fry pan, which you really can't see from where I am right now, I have about 1/4 of a cup of olive oil, and I'm doing that on medium heat. Olive oil you don't want to put on high heat. So to be honest, this really should have been done 30 minutes before I was going to cook them to get rid of all the moisture, but I really wanted to come live to do this, and sometimes I'll put something in the microwave and I'll come back to you guys and show you the finished product, but it's kind of hard to do that. I know sometimes you all don't get to follow along when I do that. All right, so this is done, and I've got a bowl full of zucchini and squash pasta. So just add a little tiny bit of salt to it, and they say to add the salt and then do this little number to get some of the moisture out. So we're going to keep that happening just a little bit here, just to get out as much moisture as we possibly can. I'm just going to put those off to the side. So now what I'm going to do is we've got our oil that's heated up now, and I'm going to use our cute little smooth chopper. This is a medium size. We actually have 3 of these. We have a mama bear, a papa bear, and a baby bear. This is mama bear. This is a good size if you want to do a whole onion, or if you've got a lot of quantities. Then the small chop and prep is great for like a 1/4 of an onion or just some cloves of garlic or some fresh herbs. They all work the exact same. They have a little rubber gasket on the bottom. And then we have this little guy right here that you just turn and snap into place. So I've got some garlic. Look how fast that happens. Whoa! And then somewhere around here, what did I do with that? I lost my, oh, here it is. It was hiding. I actually have a shallot. So the recipe calls for an onion, but I had some shallots that I had bought that really needed to be used up. So we're using shallots. All right. So I'm going to move my pan over so you guys can see what I'm doing. All right. So I've got this on a stovetop induction burner. that works really well when we're doing in-home parties, because I sure don't want to be stuck in somebody's kitchen and everybody else is out in the living room or dining room, so this makes it easy. And now that we're doing everything virtually, again, the stove is right behind me, but I don't want to have my back to you all. That's not my best side. And so again, this is medium heat. And I think I'm going to move it, crank it down to like medium low a little bit. It's a little bit hotter than what I would like it to be. I'm going to be careful because I don't want to burn these. And I'm using a silicone spatula. This is such a multiple use item because you can use it for cleaning out a bowl, or I got the onions and the shallots out of here as well. And of course you can use it in our cookware. So this is our Tupperware cookware. This is quality cookware. And I promise you this will be the last cookware you ever buy. The handles are very securely attached. We bought a condo in Florida and it was furnished, and it had the worst cookware ever. And all the handles were real rattly, like it was terrible. So until I was able to get some of the cookware shipped down there, I had to like use a screwdriver to tighten it. So these are going to be in here forever. All right, so, and then you'll notice it has a glass cover, so you can actually see what's going on. And the handles are really nice and big. So even, men do a lot of cooking these days, and so this is important because if you got a big hand, you can get your knuckles in here and not burn. But you just want to keep things covered. You don't want to always be opening things up all the time. So I'm just going to put those in here for just a minute. And then I'm going to share with you a couple of other things that I've got going on over here. So I'm going to put my knife right back into the knife guard. I know it's dirty, but it's just safer that way when I throw it into the sink. And then I also have my little tongs here. Oh gosh, I just remembered there's something else I want to cut up though. So let's get those little guys out again. So what I'm going to cut up is some chicken. I'm going to add just a little bit of chicken. So whenever we cook out, Chris is the grill master, we cook a lot of extra chicken breasts. So this was my container, and you'll notice that it says cooked chicken breast. I had 8 chicken breasts that were cooked inside. They were small chicken breasts, and these were the last 2, but I just wanted to save that because we keep these in the freezer. And then when we have something like this where I want to add just a teeny little bit of protein, I get some little tiny chicken breasts, and I'm just going to cut these up in strips. And we'll add this. These are pre-cooked, as I mentioned, and I just want little chunks. I don't even want strips. I just want little pieces, almost like bite-sized pieces. So, and we'll just add these at the very, very end because, like I said, they're already cooked. So it's a fast, easy thing. I heated these up in the microwave. I actually just defrosted them because they were already cooked. I didn't cook them, I just defrosted them. They're pretty warm. So those are in good shape and they're ready to go. Okay? All right, so we'll check out this yumminess that I got going on over here. And I'm going to bump it up just a little bit. I turned it down, remember? All right. Onions and garlic. You can't go wrong with that, right? Let's see if I can move this over so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of our Italian herb seasoning that I make. So if you want the recipe for this, you just need to holler. We actually do a mixing class. You can make a bunch of different seasonings, and of course you're just going to store them in Tupperware. So a tablespoon is all I'm going to add to that. All right. We are cooking with gas. Well, no, actually not. We're cooking with electricity. I wish I was cooking with gas, but my neighborhood doesn't have gas, which is quite a bummer. All right, so we're going to check now, and we're going to see how is our zucchini doing. And our towel is pretty wet, so that was very successful in getting a lot of the moisture out. Okay, so our microfiber towels are thebomb.com. This is a Tupperware towel. Yep, we have towels. Everything for the kitchen we've got. There we go. But that just sucked up a whole bunch of moisture. And that's the key. And if we would have left those soak for 30 minutes, it would have actually gotten a whole lot more. Boy, this is a lot for just 2 people, isn't it? It cooks down though, it really does. So I want to just toss these with my seasoning and garlic and the onions I have in here. Are you guys getting hungry yet? Yes? Say yes. And we'll cover those. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of pasta to it. I had enough food for an army. So I pre-cooked just a tiny bit of pasta. This is going to be several meals for us. And I've already drained it. So this is our pasta maker. Love, love, love this. You actually put your pasta in here with the water, uncovered, put it in the microwave. Depending upon the size and the thickness of your pasta, this is only going to take you roughly about 10 to 15 minutes. If it's angel hair, it's 10. If it's big old rigatoni noodles, it's going to take about 15. And then once you do that, you're going to take the cover, and you'll notice that on the cover, there's like a cutout on that edge there. See how that's cut out there? And you place that right over the little tiny holes that are in the end, and then you just tilt, and that's how you drain your pasta. So you don't even need to have a colander, because you're going to use the cover for that as well. All right. Things are cooking along pretty well here. Looks good. Yummy, yum. Oh my gosh. Doesn't that look fabulous? And it's so healthy, you guys. So you could actually just put some marinara sauce on this if you wanted to. I can't believe I cooked this much for 2 people. That's okay. We call them planovers in Tupperware, not leftovers. So I don't want to cook these too long, because if I do, guess what's going to happen? They are going to become like humongously big blobs of overcookedness. Okay? We need to get a bigger bowl out. All right, so hang on, everybody. I need a big bowl. I got little bowls, and I need a big bowl. All right, time to put all of this in. So first thing I'm going to do is scoop out a good portion of this. As you can see, it's steamy hot. I'm going to put in this big bowl for serving purposes. And then I love these tongs, because as you can see, they're working as tongs right now. But you can actually take them apart. And when you take them apart, they work individually. All right, I got most of it out, and that's all I really wanted to do. Now I'm going to add a little bit of tomatoes in here. So those are just cherry tomatoes. And I want those to kind of cook up. So I'm going to put the cover on here, and I'm actually going to turn the heat up just a little bit so that they get really nice and hot. And then I'm going to throw my chicken and my other pasta in, and we'll toss it all together. And that is a really simple dinner. So if you think about, if you come home from work and you've got to put a dinner together, this is a pretty fast thing to do. It's pretty healthy as well. You don't have to add the chicken, so you need a little bit of pasta, 1 zucchini, 1 squash, and you're pretty much ready to go. Salt and pepper, or the Italian herb, either one will work. A little bit of garlic, with 2 cloves of garlic, and either a small onion or a shallot. So how easy is that, right? I'm telling you what. All right, these are starting to sizzle, so that's good. Yay! Lastly, we're going to add our pasta in here. And we'll stir that around. So I did that in advance. And that's why you want a great big bowl, so you can kind of mix this all together. And I'm going to scoop up my chicken. I just want this to get a little bit warm, because I did heat it up in the microwave, but it's been sitting out for probably 15 minutes. Alrighty. And this was 1/4 cup of olive oil is what I started with. So I'm going to put the cover back on. And then because my bowl is so large, I can just toss this right in the bowl. The other option is I can put this back in and stir it around, but my bowl is actually pretty large. So I want to show you these tongs because I love them. These are our Tupperware tongs, so they won't damage your cookware because you don't want to use metal in your cookware. So they work great as tongs, but they do come apart. So that way you got something individual. I can actually serve the pasta and scoop with this as well. Um, and this is a really handy spoon as well. But what I love about them most is when you put them in the drawer, they store flat like this, which is awesome because tongs tend to get stuck in a drawer. So these are the best tongs ever. I've got 2 pair of these in the kitchen because sometimes you need more than one. And then all you do is you just put the little base in here, just like that, and snap. You can actually hear it snap. Okay? Oh, yeah, baby. It is ready. So I'm just going to put everything here. All right. And we'll slide this away so you can see what we got going on here. There we go. So I just need to toss it all together. Doesn't that look delicious, you guys? It looks delicious. It smells delicious. So we've got pasta, zucchini, squash, tomatoes, onions, garlic, a little extra seasoning as well. And then I added these little tiny pieces of chicken just to give it a little bit. So I'm going to take this apart and I'm going to toss it like this. I think it'll be easier. There we go. And you want to be careful. Don't cook your zucchini too long or your squash too long because then it gets really watery. Get that water out of it before you cook. So either let it sit 30 minutes after you spiralize it, or again, that little trick of using the microfiber. So sprinkle a little bit of salt on it. And I know a lot of you might be trying to really limit your salt intake. So if you are, then you want to definitely make sure that it sits. Oh gosh, you guys. Yummy, yummy. And I'm just going to add just a little bit more right on the very top. Awesome. Alrighty. So, hope you like that. That's what's for lunch and probably for dinner at this point as well. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.